Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Back at this cave where we apparently find the Doma Liberation Front. You are Serenia Shadowstar, are you not? We were told of your coming. Heroes of Eorzea, we of the Doma Liberation Front are honored to receive you. If you'd be so good as to follow me?
This is the House of the Fears, but there are so few of them.
Many kindred spirits remain in hiding following the rebellion. Many others gave their lives for their nation. We are the stubborn remainder. Even accounting for our comrades in the field, we are at a fraction of our former strength, 'tis true. Yet we few are patriots. Brothers in arms, prepared to fight with every fiber of our being to set our people free.
Ever are we hopeful that others will join our cause, but never did I dream that you would journey so far.
Hello, Yugiri.
Yugiri! Gods, it's good to see you. You look great, by the way. Have you been here long?
I returned but recently, having concluded my mission. Oh, it is good to see you again, my friends.
Did I hear aright? Your mission is concluded? Then you have found the young master.
Ere we speak of that, I would know by what fortuitous circumstance our friends came to be here.
Unfortunately, not that fortuitous.
The Empire's crimes are all too familiar. Lys, my heart goes out to your people.
We wanted to stay and fight, believe me, but we knew it wouldn't work. We needed more time to rebuild, and more allies to stand with us against the Empire. So we decided to come here and help you free Doma. To show everyone that you're not alone, and that the Garleans can be beaten if we work together. I'd like to think we proved that in the Ruby Sea.
That you did, Lys, and far more besides. Needless to say, your assistance would be most welcome.
Hear, hear. Now then, Yugiri, you must tell me of your search for our master.
Lest you wonder, he speaks of Lord Hien, son of Lord Cayenne, who perished during the rebellion. When it became clear that all hope of victory had gone, Lord Hien bade us deliver as many of our people as we could to safety beyond our borders. But as his father's heir, he was determined to fight on, and so he did, until he suffered a grievous wound in battle and vanished without a trace. Until now. For I have found Lord Hien, seen and spoken with him, on the Azim steppe.
O boundless and merciful Kami, the young master lives. Tell me, was he well? Did his wound yet ail him? Where is he now? Have you brought him back to us?
You may take comfort in the knowledge that he is hale and whole. However, when I invited him to return with me to Doma, he had this to say. If Doma yet thirsts for the blood of patriots and tyrants, I shall offer unto her my blade. But if she has had her fill of bitter draughts, I shall offer unto her conquerors my head.
So, if his people are tired of war and just want and have accepted surrender, then he is willing to submit himself as a show of his people's surrender.
Thrice did I declare to him that no true son or daughter of Doma would ever accept such a sacrifice. But for all my passion, he would not be swayed. Learn the truth of her heart and return to me, he said. And so I left him.
The words of one made to wear the mantle of leadership too soon. Yet there is wisdom in them all the same. If the people no longer yearn to be free, it would be folly to rekindle the fires of war.
To suffer our master, to surrender his life and forsake all hope of freedom is by far the greater folly. I will not go to face my fallen comrades having done naught to stop it.
Nor I, Shadow Walker, nor I. But we need not rouse our comrades to battle this day. Let us instead welcome our honored guests and allow them a moment of respite.
So, let's see. As you can see, we went to great lengths to disable the Aetherite. Apparently, in the twilight days of the rebellion, we feared that Xenos would be willing to risk sending unattuned conscripts. That said, it's hardly irreversible. They have the necessary materials. It would be a challenge. It would be a challenge to repair it alone, but my help with my brother's help? So yeah, the Aetherite here is broken right now. Hey, Kaidatum. 11, 12. If I'm able to help free Doma from the yoke of the imperial oppression, I must train my body to its physical peak. A daily regimen of vigorous exercise is essential. Greetings and well met, my friend. If you have questions regarding the House of Affairs, I should be glad to answer you to the best of my abilities. Long ago, the House of Affairs was a spiritual retreat for men who sought to escape the mundane concerns of the material world. But after Doma fell to the Imperial invaders 25 years ago, it was abandoned for a time until the founders of the Doman Liberation Front laid claim to it. Since then, it has served as our base of operations in our fight against the Gallians. What do you do here? I, Subaru, am but a humble member of the Doman Liberation Front. Like my brothers and sisters, I am wholly dedicated to the cause of driving the Imperial devils from our lands. Day and night in the House of Affairs do I labor for this purpose. Initiative, Serenia. He was just telling me about Xenos and the rebellion. What you have to understand is that it was not a simple matter of numbers. The bulk of the 12 never even took the field. It was Xenos' stratagems that won the war. They were unlike anything we had ever seen. His formations were unorthodox, bewildering. We honestly thought we had him on the back foot. One moment we were pressing home our advantage, the next we were surrounded and at his mercy. And then he stood before us, his cornered prey, alone and unarmed. He beckoned us to come forward and fight for our lives. One by one my comrades charged. Fearless and unflinching, he would dance amid their blades for a time, and then draw close as if to embrace. One after another. He made us watch. Do you understand? He made us watch. What kind of monster enjoys killing people? I do not think there was any joy in it, nor justice, nor morality, nor meaning. To him, the weight of one life is no different from that of 1,000. A challenge had been issued and was accepted, but on finding us no challenge at all, his objective changed. We've heard tales of Imperial soldiers being flayed for slaughtering families, for breaking brave men's spirits. Only later did I come to understand why. He did not desire obedience. He desired hate, and man consumed by it. A new battle, a new enemy, a new challenge. The hunt, I am told, he called it. A hunt without end. And when all our best lay dead and broken, he left. He left, muttering that we had bored him. But our weapons, at least, held his interest. For he took a fallen samurai sword, having grown fond of it. Since that day he has ever wielded Far Eastern blades. He is said to be fascinated by ones with storied histories, so soldiers who seek to curry his favor often present those of defeated enemies as gifts. It's like it's all a game to him. People are suffering, dying, and he's collecting swords. We all feel the same, but my lady, you must understand. On the battlefield, reasons do not matter. The victor is not the just, but the strong, and the strong becomes the heroes of the tale. We were not strong enough. It's not sufficient to be right, to be just. Without strength, our path has but one end. Though our resources are limited, our stronghold is secure. You may rest and recover here in safety. More allies to aid the Doma Liberation Front. We should be glad to receive you. Is it true that you have come from a far side of the world solely to aid us in our fight? If so, then you have my utmost gratitude. If the tales are to be believed, you are a warrior of peerless skill. I pray they are no exaggeration. AoE? As you've seen, we have few numbers and our resources are limited. Our every action must be planned with care, for we can ill afford to suffer losses. Mayhap a brief respite is in order. Were I 20 years younger, these wounds would not warrant a second glance. Alas, no samurai has the strength to defeat that villain old age. But what say you to the House of Affairs? Compared to your rising stones, I concede it may seem somewhat lacking. But it has been a haven these past 10 years to all who would set Doma free. Regrettably, our effort in that time have come to little and less. When the Emperor died, we were so sure the hour of our liberation was at hand. But Xenos soon put paid to that, with the aid of Yotsuyu and the secrets she has held. Serenia, I do hope you have taken the opportunity to rest and recover. It is well that you spoke with one of the survivors of that massacre. To defeat one's foe, one must first understand his true nature. As the Alamegan resistance has struggled, so too has the Doman Liberation Front. More so, perhaps, given the precarious position in which we find ourselves in the wake of our doomed rebellion. We are few and our enemy legion. We are weak and they are strong. Yet, with your help, I believe that there is little we cannot achieve. I only hope the depth of our predicament has not shaken your commitment to our cause. I relish a challenge. You relish the thought of facing that monster again? But of course, the hero of Eorzea fears no foe. Now then, I should be glad to discuss our next course of action. Well, now that I think on it, I myself have been away from Doma for some time, and even after my return, the search for Lord Hien commanded my full attention. Mayhap it would be to both our benefit if we were to see the reality of Doma for ourselves. For did my lord not bid me learn the truth of her heart? Let us do this together, Serenia. Let us go among the people and with our own eyes bear witness to their hardship. As a foreigner in these lands, your reputation does not precede you. Moreover, unlike Gosetsu, I can accompany you without attracting unwanted attention. I'd like to join you if that's alright. By all means. We should be glad of your company and your perspective. Namaya's not far. I say we begin there. And certainly no one there will recognize us from when we came with Gosetsu, right? Right? Alize, want to come along? These caves make for a natural hideaway and could be easily defended in the event of an attack. That said, the entrance is not the most convenient. The House of Fears actually does not count as a sanctuary, eh? But the area in front of the door. Svenja, I'm glad to see you too put thought into your garment, given the covert nature of our activities. Have I? I should think my reason's obvious. To enter the village while wearing the garb of a shinobi would be beyond reckless. We shall pose as traveling merchants. Svenja is our leader and we as her assistants. Are there any objections? I'm not really the merchant type, but if you think this is the best way to go about it, I'll trust you. But without further ado, let us begin. Yeah, where are my wares? I want my wares. Servants, bring my wares. Weren't you one who came with a general? No? I see. My mistake. It warms my heart to see traveling merchants in Namai again. Though the Imperials never sealed our borders, folks like you have taken to avoiding Yangsha ever since the rebellion. Unfortunately, that has only made it harder for us to survive. You may have noticed, but we lack for a great many things. It was not much better before, too, but it has only gotten worse. You, a merchant? Forgive me my skepticism, but you strike me less a woman of commerce and more as common sellsword. Give your best impression of Hancock. Remember the merchant in Kugane? Working for the East Alna Trading Company? Give your best smile. I stand corrected. Such a warm and cordial nature you possess. I pray you forgive me my earlier rudeness. It has been some time since the Viceroy came to our village to purge it of insurgents. Those who resisted suffered terribly, and those who did not fared little better. We who remain know better than to risk her ire. If the Imperials demand laborers, we comply. If they demand conscripts to send their soldiers to other provinces, we obey. Ours is a difficult life, with little in the way of luxuries. I know not what you sell, merchant, but I doubt that I or anyone else here can afford it. Beastman? A traveling merchant? With meat perchance? Bah, better not know when I have so little coin. I feel your eyes upon me. You know not the Lupin? Surely you have not been long in Yangsha, else you would. For generations we served the lords of Doma, compassionate and wise as they were. But the memories of such times fade with every passing day, as others will tell you. Foreign peddlers in Namai. Whatever it is you sell, I have no money to buy. Perhaps you should go elsewhere. Saying that, I know of no village in Yansha that has fared any better. Once I would have directed you to the samurai lords of Monzon, had they not all died in the battle or the purges. There's the Doma enclave, of course, but that lies beyond the Daru Moon Gates. The Doma enclave. There's the Doma enclave, of course, but that lies beyond the Daru Moon Gate. Needless to say, the Imperials are disinclined to let any but their own pass. Sylvania, what have you learned? Lisa and I encountered much the same. They have been pushed beyond the brink. I expected frustration and disillusionment, but not so much that they would come to question the wisdom of opposing Imperial rule in the first place. Unless we can convince them otherwise, I fear I cannot convince Lord Hien to return. And without him... Let us not yet lose hope. Though the situation in Namai is bleak, mayhap it is not so elsewhere. I wish to speak with others outside the village. Lise and I will look for farmers in the paddies to the east. Serenia, I ask you to look to the south. Surely they cannot all have given in to despair. Come on, tiny caterpillar. One tiny caterpillar. These creatures are huge. You okay, girl? Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you hadn't come along, I don't know what I would have done. What I'm doing out here? Looking for flowers. I need some for my parents' graves. The ones my brother and I usually bring are yellow because that's my mother's favorite color. You haven't seen any, have you? Obtain yellow flowers. battle again. Hungry caterpillar. Okay, compared to these caterpillars, they are indeed tiny. Only yellow ones will do. Mother wouldn't have wanted anything else. Maybe take these. Ah, you found some. Thank you so much, miss. That's twice you saved me now. If you have some time to spare, maybe you could come with me? I'm sure Mother and Father would want to meet the woman who showed me such kindness. We buried them on a cliff to the west of a village. There's a path through the terraces. I'll show you. Have to be up there, right? Okay. Okay, yeah, there she is. Wait here, just give me a moment to put down the flowers and I'll introduce you. They love to meet travelers and hear tales of faraway places. Maybe you could tell them about your homeland? Asami? Asami, are you there? Asami! What the... You should not be here. Get away from my sister. Don't be so rude. She saved me from monsters, brother. She even helped me pick flowers for Mother and Father. Go back to the village, now. You're scaring me. I said go. Stay inside and lock the door until I return. Don't think me ungrateful. My sister's the only family I have. If you saved her, then thank you. But that changes nothing. I have asked you to leave and now I'm asking you again. I'm not going to report you to the Imperials or anything stupid like that, but it's too dangerous for you to stay here. So please, I'm begging you, just leave us alone. She said your parents were buried here. So she told you, did she? Yes, that's right. My mother and father believed in the rebellion. They left to fight for Lord Cayenne. They came home on a cart driven by Imperial soldiers. The soldiers demanded that the families of the insurgents present themselves, or else they'd burn the whole village to the ground. So we did. What choice did we have? They beat us in the village square, with their hands, with sticks, with anything. They kicked us while we lay on the ground begging for mercy. They made us denounce my mother and father, call them fools, call them traitors. Say they deserve to die. I heard them laugh, but I dared not look up. One leaned close and whispered in my ear what he'd do to my sister if I had to come back. They're gone, but they're never far. All it takes is the wrong word in the wrong ear and they'll return. And then I have to dig another grave. If I'm lucky. Whatever you came here to do, leave us out of it. If you want to fight the Imperials, go and fight them on your own. You can't help us. No one can. And this is all we've got, so please, don't take it away from us. Okay. That is bad. I don't agree that we should just submit, but I can talk easy. I hadn't had to live through it. So, Yugiri, Lise? What's wrong, Serenia? Did something happen? You have come in a good time, Serenia. We but recently completed our inquiries. What of yours? I was not aware of these events. The boy, Issa, you told you all of this? Such disgraceful, despicable crimes. If I knew the man responsible, I would not hesitate to hunt them down and... Forgive me. That outburst was unbecoming. The more I learn of the Imperial's actions in my absence, the more difficult I find it to marshal my emotions. Could Lord Hien have foreseen this? That our people's spirit would be broken so? But at first I scoffed at his pronouncement. It feels all too possible now that he might resolve to surrender himself. I think I just end the episode here. Next time we might continue. Until then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.